In June of 2022, my wife and I celebrated our 24th wedding anniversary with an RV trip to the Finger Lakes in New York, with stops at Watkins Glen and Letchworth State Parks. Both of these state parks were absolutely beautiful and full of amazing views, and it was definitely one of our more memorable RV trips we have been on. So come along and join us for the adventure with a Watkins Glen Gorge walk and campground review and highlights of Letchworth State Park. My handy dandy level to get the camper leveled out. Just set it right there. Ooh, real close to being level. There it is. I really like this leveling system. So convenient compared to the old style we used to have on our Sprinter. Well, we are finally set up here at Watkins Glen State Park. It's an absolutely gorgeous site. Site number 105. Plenty of privacy right here where we hang out. There's not another camper on our left. There's a pull-through site over here about 75 feet away, but plenty of privacy buffer there. We love our camping rig, Rockwood Mini Light, a 2021 model, pulled by a 2020 F-150 with a 3.5 EcoBoost. And it's a gas hog. Even pulling this little 5,000 pound camper out on the freeway going 65, I only get like 7 or 8 miles a gallon. On a state route going the speed limit on flat ground, I can get about 10 or 11 at best. Anyway, glad to be here. Love our site. Ready to kick back and chill and enjoy this beautiful Sunday afternoon here at Watkins Glen State Park. I'm telling you, we got one of the best sites in this whole campground. I cannot believe it. One thing that's great about Watkins Glen State Park is that you can do Google Street View. So you can actually come down from Google Earth and look right at the campsites like you're driving through here. And that helped me pick out a great site. Even though there are some good reviews on Watkins Glen State Park on YouTube, it's not as good as using Google Earth Street View and seeing the sites with your own 2 eyes. Boy, we couldn't ask for a better day to go RV camping. What an amazing blue sky, camping under the pines. Oh, it's awesome here. Can't wait to go check out some of the hiking and running trails. Heading out for a little trail run. A very nice section of trail. It's the Finger Lakes North Country Trail section. And down below there is the Gorge Trail. It's down inside the Gorge. I'm gonna make a loop all the way to the end of this, cross over and come back on the Indian Trail. I'm gonna save the Gorge Trail down below for my wife and I together tomorrow. All right, let's get moving. You can just barely see the gorge floor right there. Probably 150 feet down. It's gonna be a beautiful hike. Our first waterfall of the trip. It's a man-made little dam with a waterfall in the middle of it. Beautiful nonetheless. Well, I'm another mile down the trail, and this is like the headwaters of the creek that flows through the gorge that way. This is kind of where it all begins, before that waterfall. Very nice. Just walked up on this beautiful shelter. Let's go take a peek inside. To get across the gorge to the Indian Trail, I want to cross this railroad tracks right here. I know it says no trespassing, but the ranger told me I could use this railroad tracks, which is very high. Wow, and it's a live track. All right, let's get over there. Here we are. It's even got a walking path. Woo-hoo-hoo. 100 feet straight down. A lot of people walking down there. That's why I did not want to run down there, because it's a Sunday afternoon and I knew it would be busy. There we go. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing tomorrow. That's what I think of when I think of Watkins Glen. Gorgeous. Oh, I just popped out into a cemetery. Maybe I took a wrong trail or something. Oh boy. It's pretty spectacular. Holy moly. Oh wow. There's the beginning of the gorge walk right up ahead. Need some water. Here's a look from the other side, down at the beginning, near the visitor center, or at least the entrance to Watkins Glen. It was just over there and went down, down, down. And now I'll be going up, up, up. There's something you don't see every day. There's a whole bunch of them through here. Huh. A few more over there yet. Well, here we go, entering Watkins Glen Gorge Trail. Look how blue that sky is today. Here we go. Looking out over the entrance here. My goodness. This place is beautiful. Oh, that is so neat. I'm really glad we're getting to see this when it's lush and green. Lots of steps around here. So this is the stairs that goes back up to the upper rim trail and to the campground. That is gorgeous. This place is spectacular. It's like Hocking Hills on steroids. Video footage doesn't do this place justice because I've watched a lot of YouTube videos about it and this is blowing my mind. Actually seeing it in person, finally. This is looking down the other way from the way we came. Looks like we can walk behind this waterfalls. This is going to be awesome. See if we can get through here without getting my camera wet. Has the smell of sulfur. Wow. But that's a gorgeous view from that bridge up there. I think I read during the historic flood that the water reached that suspension bridge and tore it down. 80 feet. Hard to believe. That was the flood of 1934, I believe. It took them 5 years to get everything rebuilt, which was finished in 1941, I believe. Looks like we got another tunnel coming up here to the right.
Well, I think like you had as well.
Around every corner is a new, beautiful view. I would love to capture some of this from up above with my drone, but you have to have a permit to fly a drone in any New York state park. This is the type of place that a wide-angle lens would definitely pay off. Boy, the views just keep coming. Hey, we got a hot tub. This is Frowning Cliff. It's certainly not making me frown, it's making me smile. Are you thirsty? Well, we're working our way through the final quarter mile of the Gorge Trail, and we'll be taking a right to climb up to the top of the Indian Trail to work our way back to the parking lot at Watkins Glen. So there are the railroad tracks that I crossed yesterday during my trail run. So here's the story of the railroad trestle getting washed away in 1935. It used to have a center pier. Now it just has two. And that is 175 feet above the river. I was not aware of that. On the Indian Trail. More cairns. Well, we are back to civilization. Hopping in our truck, head back to our campsite. That is a beautiful view. So we are currently in Geneva, heading towards Senaca Falls. We're gonna go check out the bridge where It's a Wonderful Life was filmed, where he jumped off the bridge to try to drown himself. Anyway, as we're traveling through Geneva, which is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous town right here on Senaca Lake, it reminds us a little bit of a mixture of Grahamville, Ohio and Savannah, Georgia. Beautiful place, with a little bit of Charleston thrown in. Well, we're just a few miles away from Seneca Falls, New York, here at the top of Seneca Lake. And we wanted to go to the It's a Wonderful Life Museum. Unfortunately, it's closed today, which is Monday. It is open tomorrow, but tomorrow we are leaving Watkins Glen State Park at 11 a.m. So unfortunately, the museum's not gonna work out. So we thought, you know, let's go look at Seneca Falls, the town, and see the bridge that Jimmy Stewart jumped off of to try to commit suicide. We just became aware that this is a bridge that is closely resembles the actual bridge in the movie. So it's not even the real bridge. This isn't even Bedford Falls. This is just a town where the museum is held. So, oh well, we're here now. We're gonna go take a look at it and head on back to Watkins Glen. This is the bridge that resembles the bridge that Jimmy Stewart jumped off of in Wonderful Life in Bedford Falls. Ooh, ah. Nichols Barbecue was pretty darn good. Highly recommend the brisket and the pulled pork. Wasn't crazy about the ribs or the chicken wings, but glad I tried it. So the official name of the camping area here at Watkins Glen is called Six Nations Camping Area. And it's actually made up of 6 loops. 2 of them are electric, and they're actually called villages. So I'm going to take you around and show you the 6 different villages here at Watkins Glen State Park, Six Nations Camping Area. So we're currently in the Oneida Loop or village, and this is the one that has camping cabins. Quite a few beautiful tent areas as well. There's no power in this loop. Even though there are some very nice camping areas in the Oneida Loop, it is probably my least favorite of the 6. But if you want one with camper cabins, this would be the loop for you. All right, now we're entering the Seneca and Onondaga villages. They are together for the first 50 yards and then they branch off. So we're gonna check out the Onondaga village first. Now, if you're camping here at Watkins Glen and you want to hike down to the Gorge Trail from the campground, this is the loop where you can access the trail that takes you down to the gorge. And I'll point that out here shortly. This is a beautiful camping area. So many nice sights in the Onondaga Loop and the Seneca Loop. There is no electricity in either of these 2 loops. Mostly tents, but there are some campers right there. Probably outfitted with solar and generators. Actually, quite a few campers back in this loop. All right, so here about halfway around the Onondaga Loop is the restrooms. And right across from the restrooms is the entrance. There's a little service road sign there where you can walk down that trail to the Watkins Glen Gorge. All right, we're now entering the Seneca Village Loop. And I took a quick peek at this yesterday, and there are some amazing campsites in this loop. This is one of my favorites. The best sites are on the other side of this loop as you're getting ready to exit. So the second half of this loop. These are all one-way streets, by the way. So the second half of this loop is where the best sites are, in my opinion. This is just spectacular camping back in here. I know you can't see it all from the camera. I'm not going to take the time to film every site, but trust me, it's beautiful back here. And just so you know, I think I mentioned this earlier in a video, but you can go down into Google Earth Street View to actually see just about every campsite. So that is one thing that is fantastic about Watkins Glen State Park, is being able to go down and see each campsite through Google Earth Street View rather than relying on YouTube videos alone. All right, we're now entering Tuscarora Village, which is another great loop. But again, just like some of the other loops, I think it's the second half of the loop is the best. So today is a Monday, and I cannot believe how open this campground is. Oh, this is probably the worst part of the whole campground right here. Looks like I'm on site 279, so there's a little stretch there where it's not very pretty. Sites that I would not want if I was camping here. This is where they start getting good. This is absolutely fantastic right through here, especially if you have kiddos. Site 284, 285, and 287, and it comes out right here by this big playground. Large open area for playing if you have kids. Very nice. This is 292. I mean, these are just fantastic. 293. All of these are really good through here. All right, that concludes our quick tour of the non-electric sites here at Watkins Glen. Now let's go take a look at the 2 loops that have electric. And if you're wondering about water, there are multiple water spigots around each loop in each village. Very convenient for filling up. So each site does not have water. You have to use one of the designated water spigots around the loops. All right, we're currently in the Cuyahoga loop and it is packed in here. This is where the electric is, so it's always full, even on a Monday. I mean, there's a few random sites here and there, but you can see it is just crowded. Packed in here like sardines. Very, very little privacy. So if you're able to get one of the non-electric sites or able to use a non-electric site, that is what I would recommend. Okay, we're back on the main road that takes us to the Mohawk Loop. And right across from where the Mohawk Loop starts is our campsite 105, which is one of the best in the entire campground where the electric is offered, in my opinion. Mohawk's a very nice loop. If I wanted to get a site in the electric area, I would choose Mohawk. But as you can see, it is still very full even on a Monday. I think people really like this section here. All nice big tall pine trees on the right, on the outer part of the loop. This is beautiful. You know, for example, this is site 84, 85, 86. Yeah, people seem to like these sites. 88, 80, or 90. These are all on my right. 92. Wow, look at this. It's like a wine tasting room. Now this is the part that really interests me. This is like a carpenter or a woodworker's dream shop. Anything and everything you could imagine in here. time at Watkins Glen. We are heading down the road to Letchworth State Park, only about an hour and a half away. We are currently here at Letchworth State Park. This is the Mount Morris Dam. Looking out this view right here, it kind of reminds me of the West Rim in Pennsylvania, also known as the Grand Canyon of the East. My goodness, it's pretty magnificent. Got a lot of sun glare right now, but that is pretty spectacular. Another spectacular view here at Snake Hill Overlook. In the previous one we were just at was Tea Table, right across the way. This is a gorgeous place. This drive through here is almost like driving through the Shenandoahs. This is Great Bend Overlook. Amazing. And now we are here at the Archery Field Overlook. This place has to have a name, something like the Grand Canyon of New York. Wow. This is absolutely incredible. Let's go get another view from over there. Well, someone told me this was similar to Niagara Falls. Obviously a much smaller scale, but this is spectacular. That's like a 150 foot drop. I was thinking there's no way this could be better than Tequamanon Falls or Cumberland Falls, but it is 5 times better. This grass-covered bank right here is pretty cool too. So down below me is the Upper Falls, right here by this massive bridge. And here is one of the original pieces of the bridge that they left behind before they rebuilt the new one. Reminds me a lot of driving through the Shenandoahs. Taking a little walk to check out the Upper Falls. Look at the mist rising above the water right underneath the trestle. There she is, Mary Jemison, captured during the French and Indian War and taken in by the Indians. Had, I think, 7 children with 2 different Indians. And at one time owned the 3,000 acres or so that is known as Letchworth State Park. So here is a black walnut. Nothing special, right? Planted in 1875 by Mary Jemison's grandson, James Shango. I can't believe that tree is over 140 years old. This place is just absolutely stunning. I mean, that's just one of the shelter houses. I mean, look how amazing the shelter houses are even. Restaurants and lodges, nature centers, visitor centers, all kinds of cool things here. Well, we had a really nice anniversary trip to the Finger Lakes in New York. We thoroughly enjoyed both of our state park campgrounds that we stayed at, Watkins Glen State Park as well as Letchworth State Park. We highly recommend them both, and hopefully we'll get a chance to go back and spend some more time there again in the future. If you have any questions or comments about our trip, feel free to leave me a comment down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Jason Wish, along with my wife Kristen. We are wishing you a great time on your next adventure.